The United Kingdom is facing serious labor shortages. Hundreds of thousands of European migrant workers have returned to their countries of origin during the pandemic. But Brexit makes it difficult to get back to work in the UK workplace. Several industries have now sent a letter to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. For Jonathan Gillam, chief economist at the accounting firm PwC, the numbers are unprecedented. Brexit has already reduced the influx of EU workers to the UK by 15%. The second blow came with the pandemic. By 2020, the labour force has decreased by about 1 million. It was the largest exodus of European migrant workers since World War II. Labour-intensive industries such as hospitality, healthcare, retail and agriculture are particularly prone to labour shortages, Gillam said. There is a shortage of 50,000 nurses in healthcare alone. One of the companies with an acute staff shortage is flower company JZ Flowers, owned by the Dutchman Jelle Zwemstra. He started small 35 years ago. He bought flowers in Aalsmeer and personally delivered them to shops in the English county of Yorkshire in a small van. JZ Flowers is now one of the larger flower suppliers in the United Kingdom. The company supplies 1 million forests a week to all major British supermarket chains. A labor-intensive operation that is only possible if you have enough staff. Zwemstra estimates that 80% of its staff come from EU countries. He now fills the gaps in his personal file with tricks and more tricks because the flowers have to be processed and delivered quickly. The proportion of its staff that works on a temporary basis grew from 20 to 50%. We take on students, we take on all kinds of people who want to work 1 day a week. Everyone is welcome. The situation is by no means ideal, he says. Working with temporary employment agencies is expensive. The costs are going up. It takes time to train all those new temporary employees, and they are often less productive. Lower productivity and higher costs. That means that prices have to go up. Zwemstra also suffers from labor shortages that he has no control over. For the delivery of flowers, he is dependent on the transport sector, where there is a crying shortage of truck drivers, because in the UK they too often come from Central and Eastern European countries. The country already had a structural shortage of 70,000 drivers, but according to estimates, that number has grown to more than 100,000 due to Brexit and the pandemic. Shane Brennan is one of the people who sent Johnson a letter, we would call a letter of fire. He's the president of the Cold Chain Federation, the interest group for the refrigerated goods industry. According to him, hundreds of food deliveries per week already do not arrive on time at the supermarkets. There's not only a lack of truck drivers, but also shortages in the warehouses, the packing centers, the conveyor belts, and on the land where the vegetables are picked. Brennan warns that the UK should expect empty shelves in stores this summer. There are no major food shortages yet, but you certainly run a risk with fresh food such as vegetables, fruit and meat. If it does not arrive in time, you have to throw it away. We are already seeing that happen. As a solution to the staff shortage, the UK government is encouraging companies to invest in training domestic workers so that they are less dependent on foreign workers. According to flower supplier Zwemstra, that is not realistic. It may be a long-term solution, but it won't solve the acute labor shortages, he says. The entrepreneur would prefer London to make it easier to hire workers from EU countries. Brexit cannot be reversed, but I personally think there is a middle ground, he says. It should be possible to open the border temporarily to at least balance the market. But such a solution would go against the spirit of Brexit. The British government, therefore, has little sense in relaxing the rules, even if it would be temporary. According to economist Gillam, there is no silver bullet for the labor shortage. The job market is overheated. Many companies will struggle to find enough staff this summer, he says. And I say, I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.